This video is sponsored by Surfshark. Hey everyone, it's FLAK. Battlefield 2042 has a steady stream of updates rolling in. Hopefully developers will continue to improve the game and make some much needed changes. In the meantime, I've had some fun exploring a few more interesting details in the game. If you missed the last episode, make sure you check it out so you don't miss gems like the penguins, everything Ranger the robotic dog can do, and how to block elevators, even though that last one is supposedly getting patched out soon. For this video, we're looking at 10 more cool details in Battlefield 2042, and to mix things up a little bit, I'm actually going to mention one detail developers ended up removing from the game, so stick around for that. But first, are you tired of getting murked by Jisoo and Paik's overpowered ability? Surfshark VPN could be the solution you're looking for. Use a virtual private network to swap your location and bamboozle your enemies. Okay, so maybe Surfshark can't help you in Battlefield 2042, but it can change your IP address location, letting you bypass geo restrictions to check out the latest shows on Netflix in other countries. You can even change time zones to get early access to new games for that day one edge. Surfshark won't throttle you either. With server speeds up to 10 gigabits and unlimited bandwidth, rest assured you're getting top speed and security. In fact, Surfshark lets you stick it to ISPs who might throttle your internet while you stream or game. They do this by encrypting the information sent between your device and the internet. This also keeps your data secret from the prying eyes of big companies or cyber criminals. Sign up today and get 83% off, plus 4 months free with the promo code FLAK, or you can use the link in the video description. There's a 30-day money-back guarantee, and you can use one account on an unlimited number of devices with unlimited bandwidth. So get started today with Surfshark using the link below, or use the code FLAK. Alright, so first up, I've spent quite a bit of time inside a Battlefield portal, and I gotta say I was surprised to notice some key differences between the voice lines of the Battlefield 2042 specialists and the characters from other Battlefield eras, most notably those from Battlefield 1942. While specialists from 2042 will use more modern expletives, the characters from Battlefield 1942 will curse in the most 1940s way possible.
Ah, dang! Jesus Christ! Nabbit!
It's a neat little touch, and it actually kind of makes it feel just a little bit more immersive. For our next detail, let's look at the reload for the revolver in Battlefield 2042. The 44 Magnum has been a long-time fan favorite, so many people were excited to see it pop up again. As it turns out, it also has one of the most detailed reloads in the game. It may look simple, but empty brass stick in the cylinder and have to be punched out with the extractor. Meanwhile, unfired rounds simply fall out. This is actually rooted in reality as the case expands when it's fired. The reload animation is dependent on the number of fired rounds in the gun. So, if you fire a single round, that one will need to be extracted, whereas if you fire 5 rounds in the cylinder, they will all need to be manually extracted. Another cool detail here is that your character actually catches the unfired rounds in their hand, presumably to save them for later. Number 3 is a cool detail with doors in Battlefield. Most exterior doors can take some serious damage in the game, while interior doors are easily destroyed with explosives. However, you might not know all but the beefiest of doors can be shot open with powerful guns, like the aforementioned 44 Magnum. Personally, I love moving through buildings quickly with a 12M automatic shotgun. You can, of course, also just blow open heavier doors with explosives. Next, if you spend some time investigating the details on maps, you'll notice some interesting things. If you shoot fire extinguishers, they explode. Damaged video screens will fail, and one of my favorites, though, is particularly subtle and a bit tongue-in-cheek. If you spot a keyboard in Battlefield 2042, you might want to pay close attention to which keys seem to be used the most. WASD are of course what PC players use for movement in games, and the letters are worn on a lot of the keyboards in the game. If you search around the offices on Manifest, you'll also spot an Easter egg which might be a reference to Office Space The Office, or just an internal joke about a stapler. Fifth is a neat detail you can find on Kaleidoscope. This map is set in Songdo, South Korea, a country known for its efficient mass transportation systems. However, if you check out the transportation map for buses in the city, something might catch your eye as a bit out of place. At first glance, everything seems normal, but if you follow that yellow line, you'll notice the stops begin to spell out some friendly advice for new players. It reads, quote, "Why are you reading this? Play the fudging objective." End quote. We all know some players who maybe need to take that hint, so here's hoping they bump into this Easter egg on their own. Next, let's head to Breakaway. You know, the map with all the penguins on it. It turns out these guys aren't the only animals on the map. Technically, if you spend some time on the frozen shoreline, you'll come across some interesting skeletons. Now, these might seem prehistoric, and I've actually seen a couple of people refer to them as dinosaur skeletons, but they're actually whale skeletons. Whaling was a booming industry in the past for Antarctica, and in the dystopian future, it wouldn't surprise me if it made a comeback. Seventh is another rather dark detail, right? We're used to some crazy and often humorous deaths in Battlefield thanks to unique Ragdoll animations, but one of them makes me just a little uncomfortable. When your character is killed by incendiary grenades in Battlefield 2042, it's pretty intense. They often flail and scream in the final throws, and it's actually quite visceral. Number 8 brings me back to Battlefield 4's Rogue Transmission map and the collapse of the radio telescope. In Battlefield 2042, on Kaleidoscope, you can find a large radio tower atop one of the skyscrapers. Turns out this can actually be dropped onto enemies below. If you destroy all 4 support cables, the tower will collapse, and it will actually fall to the side opposite of the last destroyed cable. So, if you're defending that rooftop objective, choose wisely. You wouldn't want to drop it on the wrong team. Our next detail can also be found on Kaleidoscope. If you take a look around the E1 objective on Conquest, or the northeast side of the map, you'll find yourself at a memorial. The plaque reads, quote, "In memory of the 207 lives lost when debris from falling satellites struck this spot on March 12, 2040, erected October 2040, end quote. The memorial is actually a direct reference to one of the big events that led up to the conflict in Battlefield 2042. You might remember a Kessler effect knocked out approximately 70% of the satellites orbiting the Earth, plunging the world into communication darkness and raining deadly debris on thousands below. Lastly, you guys know I'm a stickler for history, so I of course went to check out a really obscure detail in Battlefield Portal, and I was actually surprised with what I found. So, if you're playing as the Battlefield 1942 American team and capture an objective, you'll see the American flag going up on that objective pole. And lo and behold, it is the correct number of stars for the 1942 flag. Conversely, if you check out the Battlefield 2042 American faction and you capture an objective, you'll notice the flag is actually different and contains the same number of stars as our flags today, those of course representing the number of states in the Union. Finally, at the beginning of this video, I mentioned a detail on Battlefield 2042 that developers actually removed, and you might have spotted this during the game's beta, but AI bots would actually teabag you if they were fortunate enough to get a melee kill. Now, there wasn't any public rationale as to why this feature was removed, but I think it's safe to say, given the game's condition, that AI openly mocking real-life players maybe wasn't the best idea, even if I personally find it hilarious. Overall, there are still a ton of cool details in Battlefield 2042. Which one of the ones in this video was your favorite? And if you know of any others, make sure to tell me down below in the comments. They might end up featured in the next video. And thanks again to Surfshark for sponsoring this one. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If not, a dislike. Make sure to subscribe and tap the bell to stay up to date on all the Battlefield 2042 news. If you want to support the channel, as always, keep your money, share this video, and thanks for watching.